We're live. Okay, I need to make sure that my phone's on Do Not Disturb. So hold on, guys. It is. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Yay. Okay, so we're live. So we're diving into the content for this week. Okay, so what I did was I pulled from just some of the inboxes as well as from this weekend's accountability group that we did, which was phenomenal. It was not recorded, but we're working on a way in which so that the women of SWS Speak Women Speak will get access to some of the thoughts that we're sharing. So we have women that are resubmitting the audios. They're just sharing their thoughts from the scripture reflection. So we're going to piece that together and put it out, which I'm really excited about. So we're going to quickly dive into something I'm really excited about tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Delaware Entrepreneurial Summit. I'm so excited to be a speaker. I'm excited to connect with some of the big movers and shakers, restaurateurs, CEOs. It's going to be amazing from Delaware. And as some of you guys know, I am now partnered with the SBA and working with the SBA through the Women's Business Center to help bring forth more entrepreneurs in the state of Delaware. So super excited about all that. But let's dive into what we're talking about tonight. So if you're watching the replay, if you're part of the email community, hello, hello, hello. And I hope that you get some things from this. Hey, YouTube. Hey, Miss Congeniality. So hey, Instagram. Hey, YouTube. Hey, Facebook. Glad to have you with us. And again, to our replay viewers. So let's talk about tonight, shall we? We are talking about how to focus and create from the inside out. I have been spending a lot of time working with creatives, especially with the work that I'm doing now in the state of Delaware. And just be honest, it's been really interesting. And I want to cover for us, okay, I've written all these things down, 5 things business wise to create focus. And then we're going to dive into the creative side, okay? And this is not just for creativepreneurs like, designers, photographers, those kind of things. I'm really talking about anyone that is an entrepreneur and also to a ministry leader. All of these things are going to apply, okay? The business models and the ministry models, these are all going to apply, okay? So this is for my community at the end of the day, my entrepreneur and ministry leader communities, okay? Let's talk about these 5 things. If you're taking notes, you may not have the time to write down the notes, so you may have to come back and write the notes from this live. But really, we should have made this like a separate master class. But I just finished a call. I wanted to pop one, so we're just going to do it. Okay, you guys ready? Let's kick off note number 1. These are the things in which, as we're in quarter 4, I want you to be able to focus and create from the inside out. But in order to do that, you must focus. Okay? You must focus. Okay? And I know some of you guys are already in your focus. You already got this. But I really want you to center in. When we hit quarter 4, that's our wrap up. For some people, that's their wrap up quarter. For some people, it is the beginning of their new season. For some people, it's wrap up quarter and it's also planning quarter for next year, right? If you were in my accountability call that I did, was it last? I'm going to say last month. And then if you are a part of the work that we did with the WBC and the holiday boot camp, one of the things I talked about in the holiday boot camp for entrepreneurs was that your quarter 1 of next year should already be planned by now. I'm going to say that one again. If you are a ministry leader, if you're a ministry leader, you really need to hop on this because we're about to be in the new year, okay? So any entrepreneur or a ministry leader, your quarter 1 of 2023, you need to have planned that out by now. If not, we are in quarter 4. You should not be planning your quarter 1 and quarter 1. Okay, because at that point you're in quarter 1, right? So you should already know what you're about to do 3 months in advance. Because that's what a leader goes ahead of the people. A leader does not go with the people at the same time. Now you walk with them, but you've already noted the destination of where you're going. Does that make sense? So therefore, you know what the goals are for that upcoming quarter. You know what you want to hit for those quarters, for that upcoming quarter. You know what types of things you're going to release, events. If you're in ministry, you know the events you're going to have. You know the maybe the focus or growth goals that you have for that ministry. You've already plotted out let's say in business, what you want those revenue goals to have. Even churches, there are giving goals. I don't know if some of you guys know this, but there are metrics that you meet in ministry models, right? Like, churches don't function for free, right? Ministry models are not for free. You have things that you want to hit. You may have things that you want to build. You may have ways you want to expand. It may not be large at that moment, but there are certain metrics that you do want to have. If you're in ministry, we talk about conversion rates in ministry. Yes, we do. If you have this many people that are visitors, how many people became members, right? It's not to say that we want to grow super fast, but if we're seeing that we're having 100 visitors at our church, but only 2 became members, that's letting us know that, wait, why are we getting so many visitors, but only so many are becoming members? That conversion rate should be higher if we're having that in-person interaction. So maybe we need to look at our in-person touch points, the way that we are communicating with visitors, the way that we're bringing them into our community. Same thing goes for business or even online ministry models, right? If we're getting all this traffic, all these eyes, how come people are not joining the online ministry? How come we're having a whole bunch of one-time donors and not that many recurring partners or donors? What's with that, right? My point is that no matter what your business model, ministry model is, we must focus, right? And we must create from the inside out. I hope this is helping you. If this is helping you and you're on Facebook, be sure to share. If you're on Instagram, I don't even know how you guys can share. I don't know if you guys can share, great. But if not, just watch and let me know if I'm helping you guys out. So I'm going to give us again our 5 things. I just want you to be in the mindset of where I'm at. Okay. In order to focus, I'm going to say some things that may offend some people because you've heard this from coaches that have told you something that coaches, consultants, experts, gurus, whatever you want to name them, no-rus, have told people, especially creatives or those who are thinking in that entrepreneurial mindset, that's absolutely wrong. You may have heard some of these things before, but whatever, we're going to go through it. Number one. When you are focusing for this upcoming year, quarter 1 of 2023, for those of us who are more advanced, you may be actually setting out for even the whole year. You kind of already know what your whole next year looks like. And of course, you have things that pop up, but you kind of have a mindset for that. But for most people, they are going literally from quarter to quarter, right? When you are being inspired by a model, whether it's a business model or a ministry model, you have to be careful not to compare apples to oranges. Okay, I'm going to explain what this means. You cannot compare apples to oranges, okay? Because many times when people are trying to improve what they want to do the next quarter, the next year, whatever it may be, or you're getting inspired by someone else's growth, you believe that, okay, we can compare our ministry to the Potter's house. We can compare our ministry to, let's say you have a women's ministry, and you want to compare your women's ministry to Proverbs 31's Ministries by Lisa T. Kirst, or you want to compare your women's ministry to Woman Evolve, or you want to compare your ministry to, Jackie Perry, whatever large ministry you follow, that's our model, right? Or you want to compare your business to Nordstrom, or your business to Neiman Marcus, or your business to Walmart, right? And it's so dangerous because you are comparing apples to oranges, okay? And I want to explain why, because this is the number one reason people lose their focus. Because they are comparing their current model that God has blessed them with a model that you do not have the infrastructure yet for. And so you're trying to create something, okay, that you have not produced inwardly, okay? And not everyone's meant to be a big ministry or a big business, okay? Not everyone's supposed to be a big box department store, okay? You can make millions in business many ways, and you can have a thriving ministry in many ways, okay? So it's really important that when we're being inspired or we're thinking of innovative ways to grow, you have to have the understanding of, number one, what is your infrastructure? What does your infrastructure look like? Because that's really what you're supposed to focus on, okay? You don't focus on becoming like someone. You need to first focus on, what am I trying to do in this current season? Because if you have not maximized your current season with the infrastructure that you currently have, right? You're going to try to produce curriculum, ministry series, all these different things, business products and services. Again, depending upon if you're a business or ministry, all these things. But you have to have the infrastructure, and you do not obtain an infrastructure just because you're inspired. I'm going to say that one again. We do not create infrastructures just because we're inspired. We create infrastructures because that's what actually we're supposed to do, right? And if you're on Instagram and it's losing connectivity, and there are people hopping on Facebook and YouTube to watch. I just want to say that Instagram, because that happens a lot, right? So our first point of this is, in order to focus, you do not need to compare business models, okay? Because you cannot compare apples to oranges. I'll give you a perfect example. Someone told me that, we know, Genesis, you're always preaching about focus in the one thing, right? But the Lord has called me to diverse things, multiple things. So I understand your method, but I'm not going to box myself in, right? And she thought that she was proving a point. I said, okay. So then I had to challenge her on that point. I said, I want you to write down a list for me of 10 successful companies. 10, like, really successful. As a matter of fact, we can even get more personal. Give me 10 successful people. Let's not even limit to companies. Give me 10 successful people. 10 successful people who became successful doing multiple things at one time and doing it well. I want you to just give me 10 people that you know, and give me the people that you aspire to be, matter of fact. Give me Oprah, because this person talked about Oprah a lot. They talked about the founder of what's the guy's name? Is it Sergey Brin of, there's a Larry Page, Google. And I said, then she had named, who else was she had named? One other person too. Oh my God. And I said, when you think of those people, I can directly tell you how they made their success. Oprah was not running a magazine company and growing her fame through TV at the same time. Oprah did not have own TV when she was holding that microphone and establishing her voice in the market as someone running a daytime show. The founder of Amazon was not launching Whole Foods when he was still a bookstore. I mean, if you really want, this is the thing, if you really want to go there, let's go there. Like, if you really want to go there. And I had to break it down to her, because I said, every successful person that you can think of, I mean, truly successful, they built one company at a time. When Elon Musk was with PayPal, was he launching SpaceX or Tesla? Can someone tell me that? Was he like, PayPal, you know what I mean? Now, of course, these men had other ventures, but they were ventures. They were not where they were fully invested. And these people also had a ton of money to do those things. But when you're not yet a millionaire with stuff, you don't have you don't have the ability to not be focused. You only literally have so much time. You can't hire out your time, right? So then they say, so then the person said, Genesis, I'm like Walmart. Walmart has multiple products. Why can't I have multiple products? I said, you're still missing the point. We're gonna we're talking about focus. So, you want to talk about Walmart? You want to talk about Nordstrom? Yeah, because they have tons of, they're not boxing themselves in. And I said, oh man, now we got to talk about how big business works. Do you know that Walmart has a different business model than you? Walmart is not someone like you, right? That's a small business owner, okay? That is focused on a particular subset of services. Walmart has established who they are in the marketplace, and they are still known for one thing. They offer various things under their company, but they are still focused. It's just that when you look at it, you're looking up at the company. So you think that, they're doing all these different things, and they are, but it's still focused under a certain brand and a certain mission. Walmart is not competing with Neiman Marcus. Walmart, that would be comparing apples to oranges. Walmart is not competing with let's just say some like smaller boutique that sells women's clothing. Like, that's not even though they sell women's clothing, they have a particular focus. They're big, but they're still focused. They know their target market. They know the messaging they're trying to convey. They've always been about, y'all remember the smile, the yellow smile, affordability. Right? Providing prices for affordability for the average consumer. They don't have the marketing message of Nordstrom. They don't have the marketing message of Macy's because their business models, while they may be similar, that's still apples to oranges. You actually understand what you're comparing yourself to. On top of that, do you have the supply chain? Are you a corporation? Are you a billion-dollar company that has the ability to do subscription-wise services, have multiple locations, afford all of that overhead? And are you a publicly traded company? So when you tell me that you're comparing, oh, well, Walmart does it, why can't I? Because you're not Walmart. Right? You're not Walmart. I'm not Walmart. I can't compare my business model to Walmart and say, well, that's why I should let my creativity roam. Right? Like, are you seriously comparing yourself to a publicly traded company that has sub companies? And you're also a billionaire with billionaire families members? I mean, if so, then that's different. But as I was talking to this woman, I wasn't saying this to mock her, right? What I was telling her is that in business, you have to understand the model in which whatever model you are. You cannot compare your ministry to Life Church with Craig Groeschel. Oh, I talk to ministry leaders all the time. They're like, we're going to do a whole bunch of church plants, satellite church model, we're going to blow up. And I'm thinking to myself, you can't just like that. You don't just take a model and just like duplicate it. You have to really understand that many of these companies, even when they started, they had a ton of capital. Or it was organic growth through years of time. I mean, years, right? So this is not to condemn, but you will rob your focus. Let's go back to point number 1. You will rob your focus when you compare a business model that you do not have the infrastructure for. You will lose focus. You will be busy trying to create something you were inspired by, but did not have the infrastructure for. Now, what is the encouragement with that? Because I'm not here to condemn. Right? I'm here for you to have a proper perspective so that you can reach God's plan and purpose for what you've been called to build. Because the people that are part of my community, Speak Women Speak, platform builders, over whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, the leaders that I've taught for years, since 2012, so shout out to those who've been rocking out with me for a while, we are focused on our unique purposes that are all different. Okay, to glorify God with our expertise, whether that's in ministry, whether that's in business, whether it's a mixture of both, whether it's in corporate, everyone has different places. Your job is to reach the people that you're meant to reach. Okay, so that's our goal. That's our end goal. And it's to lead them to an intended destination. Okay, so that's what I want to encourage you with. Pray about your ministry model. Pray about your business model. It's great to be inspired, but inspiration must be confirmed by God. I'm going to say that one again. Inspiration must still be confirmed by God. Just because I'm inspired does not mean I go and do it, right? Perfect example was that the Queen of Sheba came to visit Solomon. Right? She was not coming to duplicate, the great city. But she came and she was inspired because she saw the possibilities of what can happen. Many times our inspiration is not telling us to copy. It really is telling us of what is available to you and how not to limit yourself based upon what maybe you've been experiencing in ministry or based on what you've been experiencing in business. Sometimes inspiration is there to show you that maybe there's a different way to do something. It may not be their way, but maybe there's a different way that you can be inspired by. Right? So that's it. Yeah, there you go, Vanessa. I'm inspired, but I have been instructed. Exactly. Right? When God, you can be inspired. That's why you pray about inspiration. Because you may be inspired and God can be like, yeah, that's exactly how I want you to do it. And you're like, oh, okay, great. Bam. Right? But you must also pray. We always pray about what we've been inspired by. Okay? So let's go to point number 2. Okay. The other reason of why we should focus is because at some point, you have to prove that you're great at doing what you've been called to do. And your model is proven to be able to function. What do I mean by that? Some people they have such a lack of focus that they never stay still enough to work the model that they've been given. So they're changing it like every couple months, every year. The church model has changed every year to 2 years. The business model has changed every year to 2 years. You can't really establish something with a strong foundation if you keep on moving because you lack focus. right? I cannot call myself an expert at teaching people how to build platforms if, let's say last year I wanted to be a relationship coach. And then, this year I'm now a fitness expert, and then the year before that, I was a ministry expert. And then the year before that, oh, wait, hold on now. I'm now teaching singles how to experience great, how to maximize their singleness. I'm just like, you're talking about so many different things that if I called you on the phone and said, I want you to tell me what you do in one sentence, you're not to tell people, as I like to say, your hobbies. You tell people about the destination you can take them. Now, the thing about it is a lot of times we want to bring in our career, our parenting, all these things into one thing. No, when I ask you about your business, I'm not asking about your parenting advice. I'm not asking you about, what you did in the summer for a hobby or what you did as a volunteer. It's about what do you actually do? What is your actual expertise? What are you actually an expert at, right? And that is important. When I ask pastors, what is the purpose, or ministry leaders, what's the purpose of your ministry? And they tell me, oh, as we talked about in a previous live, oh, well, we're here to serve everyone and change the world and glorify God. Well, that's everybody's mission. What has your church been called to? What has your ministry been called to? What does your business do? Right? Because a lot of times we're sounding like clones. So you must become great. Your focus is what backs up your expertise. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Okay. Your focus is what will bring in, especially for entrepreneurs, your revenue. People are not going to make you a millionaire if you're unfocused. I'm going to say that one again. People are not going to make you, at minimum, an entrepreneurs, a millionaire if you're not focused. And let me flip it to ministry, okay? You will not be able to have a budget of millions, okay, if you cannot focus. Now, not every church is meant to have a budget of millions, right? So that's just an example. So some of you, please do not get offended. But I will say this, whatever ministry model you have, it does need to generate profit. And I know church people don't want to hear this, okay? But a church is a business on paper. It is a 501c3, but it is a business. And I'll be honest, people say that churches are businesses in quotations because they say, oh, churches don't give. But if churches were more like businesses and how they operated, infrastructure-wise, a lot of the foolishness would never exist because there would be accountability set up. There would be where it wouldn't be spent on mindless events that people attend out of monotony and religious function instead of actually, is their lives being changed? Are we doing just another event just to have a bulletin board filled of events? What is the proven evangelism tie and discipleship tie to their actual growth? A lot of things would not be happening, right? Because if we really thought about, okay, how are people actually growing? Right? I mean, this is me just being frank and honest. I'm just being straightforward because I'm here to help people. So for my ministry leaders, I don't tell them to do things just to do them. Okay? Number one, where are you taking people? What's the intended destination? How are you going to get them there? And what are the tools it's going to take to do those things? Right? When you build a ministry model that way, then you're not doing things out of monotony or out of, oh, well, we do events and we do a conference every year. We just do a conference every year. No, how are we improving not just a conference or not just an event, but how is this growing the amount of people that are getting to the destination? What's the accountability measures that are set up? This is why sometimes being big, people put about size. It's more about how are you being effective in what you're doing. Okay? And how are you showing people that people should be giving in their local churches to take care of effective ministries? Of effective ministries. Effective, where we're seeing growth, right? We're seeing people grow. We're seeing people, but see, the church then has to have also accountability, right? Churches can't just allow people just to do whatever they want, right? And call it community. Communities, they protect one another. They are accountable to one. You can't just come in here with foolishness, right? So this is what I'm talking about how if you're a leader over a ministry, a church, a business, right? You have to prove that your model is worth following. I know that's hard because we believe people should just follow us because we're leaders. No. People, first of all, are not following you. People are following you to get to a destination. You are simply a vessel. Okay? So this is important. We're talking about focus. So number one, I got to know, what is my ministry, business, or church model? What does it actually look like? What are we called to do, and what does that look? What does that tangibly look like? Of its day to day, month to month, of its of the way that it takes care of itself. How is our leadership set up? How do we know that we're effective in what we're doing? You know, these are questions we have to ask ourselves, no matter what type of leader we are, right? Number two, you must remain consistent. Your focus has to give consistency to where you are worth someone following. Without consistency, you are not someone worth following. And I say that to myself. If I just don't show up, I'm not going to really be someone worth following. If I'm not giving of tangible information, I'm not worth following. If I'm just babbling to you, dropping cliches, how will you ever learn about building effective platforms, leading people to destinations? I've been teaching since 2012. No one can tell me that I am not a teacher. No one can tell me that I'm not effective in my teaching. I have the fruit to show for it. But the fruit is not how good I am. The fruit is the growth of those who have followed me and where they've been able to go. Are you hearing me? Hopefully you're hearing me. If you're enjoying this, let me know in the comments. If you're learning something, let me know in the comments, okay? Because you are not to be like, you are not a common leader. You are not an ordinary leader. You are not someone that just gets in front of people and you tell them what to do and you think that you're being, no, you have been called to lead people to a destination in some area of their life, or in multiple areas of life. And that's why you have to focus, because how can you help people improve and you're scattered? It won't happen. Let's go to point number 3. You must be able to clearly define what you do, who you're meant to reach, and what you will provide. If you cannot answer those 3 things in any area that you lead, a business, ministry, church, we have to answer this question. In other words, let's go back to this. I have to be able to clearly define what I do, who I'm meant to serve, and what we will provide. Okay, you have to provide something. People are not leading or not following you for you just to be, again, heard. This is why I talk about, I focus on ministry leaders and entrepreneurs, but this is why for personal brands, most people do not need to have a personal brand. Most people. I'm going to tell you why. Because they're not taking anybody anywhere. It is nothing but a platform with their headshots, their bio, and some merchandise. And I'm not here to attack anybody. Okay, you do what you believe you've been called to do. But the people that are under my tutelage and the people that I share encouragement to, you will not have a website filled with headshots, a bio, and merch and call that a brand or a platform. That's not a platform. Okay, that is an idol that you've created unto yourself. You want people to follow you, but to follow you where? Where are we going? You've written a memoir for us to read. This is what the world does. The world builds idols unto themselves. They build idols unto themselves. Celebrate me. Glory in my story. When you read their memoirs, it is nothing about helping the person. You know what it's about? Read my story. Feel for what I've been through. But you know what the best memoirs are? The ones that change the story and say, now this is what I've been through. Now let me give you the tips and strategies on how to get to where you need to get to in life. When Jesus came to earth, and you guys know, if you're part of Speak Woman Speak, we talk about the prophet Isaiah a lot, and when Jesus read from the book of Isaiah, right? And Walidra Latasha just dropped it. Let me highlight her comment here. And let me tell you what Jesus did. When Jesus came into the synagogue, was about to start his ministry, he did, Instagram is pausing. Okay, Instagram is back. Jesus did not say, hello, my name is Jesus, and now I'm going to tell you about myself. I want to tell you about all the things I've been through my 30 years of ministry. I want to share with you, not to say that you can't do that, because we already used our story. But what I mean is that when he showed up, his focus was not on glorying of himself. He said, here is what I am to do for you. Someone needs to catch that. I'm hoping you guys caught that. He didn't say, here's what you will do for me. He didn't say, here's how you can glory in me. He said, here is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to What am I going to do? You know what? Let's go there because I think it's important that we hear this. Now, when Speak Woman Speak, if you're a part of our cohort or have been a part of our cohorts, or you will be a part of our cohort very soon, which we're excited about for this coaching program, but we actually always read this passage. It's actually a part um, of what we do because this is something that I'm always teaching to the women of you understanding what you're doing when it comes to having a platform, for you being responsible for people. Okay, I always go through this. Okay, let me read for you what Jesus said. Okay, it says here, Luke 4:17-21, and the scroll of the prophet Isaiah was handed to him. Unrolling it, he found the place where it is written. This is what he says. The Spirit of the Lord is on me. This is NIV. I'm going to read the King James. I got to read the King James. Y'all know I got to read the King James. I'm not going to cheat y'all. Okay, here we go. Here we go. And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written. This is what he says. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, and to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. And he closed the book and gave it to the minister and sat down. And the eyes of all of them were in the synagogue and were fastened upon him. And he began to say unto them, what does he say? This day, this scripture is fulfilled in your ears. Now, the reason why I teach this for our women, Speak Woman Speak, and just our community in general, is because Jesus did not come to say, this is about me. He came to say, I am the deliverer that you were asking for. Now, it's not the way that you thought. I'm not going to be the king of the world like you thought, where I'm going to be, the king of the city. No, you're going to be, that's why they call him the king of the Jews. I'm like, no. He said, no, I am a king that's above this kingdom, as he reveals to us later down the road. I've come to deliver you. That's basically what he was saying. And it's important because what he's basically saying as a leader is your job is to bring people to a destination. That's really what leadership is. Leadership is not people glorying in you. Leadership is not you proving how intelligent you are, how wise you are, how bright you are, and how you should be above others. Leadership is bringing people to a destination that will help them become their best self. Whether you are a chef that cooks great food, your job is to deliver people's taste buds, okay? If you are an artist, whether you are a singer or a painter or a sculptor or a sketch artist, your job is to deliver people in their ears or in their eyes, to show them something they've never heard before, or to bring them peace through your voice, or to invoke emotions that they've never felt before, right? But the point is that if I'm only creating unto myself, that's not me leading people anywhere. And hey, listen, if that is your personal hobby, great, cool. But the moment we call something a business, or we want to share it to people, the moment people become involved, and you've said that this is for people, you have to lead people somewhere. Do we get it? If you got it, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. If you've got it, let me know. Do you understand? I want you to get this because I'm hoping that this gives you some fire as we're in quarter 4. I want you to come into this quarter 4, not just hot, not just ready to go, not just ready to take this thing to the next level, but for you to understand that my focus is going to create an experience for people that they've never felt before. I don't care how long you've been creating products, how long you've been coaching, consulting, writing books, how long you've been singing, preaching, how long you've been building churches, ministries. Listen, let this be the season where people experience something that they've never experienced before. You know why? Because you're realizing in this current quarter 4 that we're in right now, that my leadership is dynamic. It's not limited by just you seeing my face or hearing my voice or following me. I am designated to take you somewhere. I am your designated driver. Okay, you are their designated driver. Okay, they need to get somewhere, and it's up to you to do so. And isn't it amazing that God could have picked anybody, anywhere, but He decided to touch you? He decided to call you out. He decided to say, you know what, that one right there. I know that her story or his story is not a perfect one. As a matter of fact, that makes him even more qualified, right? I know that they are willing, okay, to do what I've asked them to do. God says, you know what, I know that they are someone that will not copy other people's models, but will be inspired and then pray to me so that I can confirm it for them. This is somebody that I can trust This is somebody who's going to maximize their current season and not complain about what they do not have, but instead be thankful for what they already have, okay? So let's keep on going. I want to get us through, and we currently have 34 minutes on the clock, so we're doing good as well as time. Let's go to point number 4. Point number four. Okay, if you're enjoying this, let me know. Point number 1. Okay, we're talking about how to focus and create from the inside out. Okay. Point number 1 is that, remember, we don't compare business models, ministry models, church models. We are inspired, but we allow God to confirm it. Okay. We allow God to confirm it. Sometimes he'll say, yep, that's it. Sometimes he'll say, nope, I like it, but this is just to show you, right? So it could be one, it could be both. Okay. Number 2, you must be consistent to prove that you are worth following. Some of you believe God's blocking you. He's not blocking you. What? You need to prove to yourself that you're worthy of following. Some of you do not believe it. And the way that you show up, you think that it's people not wanting to follow you. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you some of my secret sauce. Okay. My passion has attracted more than what many people will be paying for. My passion, my fire, let me tell you something, okay? Me showing up for these now 10 years, because it's 10 years. This makes it 10 years now. I'm only 30. So I already know what God has for me in this next decade. Listen, I'm just getting started. Okay? But it's been 10 years and I'm just getting started. So how are you giving up? It's been 2 years. It's been 3 years. It's been 4 years. What? I'm sorry. What qualifies you to quit? Let me tell you something. You're already qualified to win. But some of y'all need to ask yourself, what qualifies me to quit? Nothing. What is it on your list that makes you qualified to quit on what God called you to do? Let's not talk about the job that you chose. The job that God never confirmed the job. You chose the job. You know, you chose all these other responsibilities. No one even told you to choose all these other responsibilities. But when it comes to what God told you to do, somehow now you become qualified to quit. It's so funny. We hear of the Great Resignation, right? In our jobs. I'm thinking, let me tell you something. The greatest resignation that I've seen is not in the career field. Greatest resignation I've seen is the fact that Jesus is coming back soon and people are acting as if what God told them to do is not important. The greatest resignation has been in the Western culture church. Meanwhile, around the world in third world countries, these people are dying for the gospel, staying up all night for the gospel. And if someone doesn't come on our live and only one person shows up, we feel as if, oh, God has not called me. God has not called me. I only have 10 people on my email list. I just don't think this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm sorry, but people in third world countries would laugh at us at what qualifies us to quit. All you have to do is show up on a Wi-Fi device, or all you got to do is walk into a building and evangelize. And I'm sorry. Let me just question. Okay. You launch your business. You haven't had sales. Let's just say 3 months. And you say to yourself, I need to give up. But yet it's something that God told you to do. I'm just going to move on. I just want you to sit sometimes and listen to the thoughts that you're thinking that God never said. That God never said. God did not say those things. You said those things. And now you want God to validate the quitting. I'm sorry, God is never going to confirm what your flesh has said. God is never going to confirm what you feel based upon a false reality appearing real, which we know what people talk about what is fear, right? That's the reality that you created. You said that there are no customers and clients. Your mouth just spoke death to your own business. You're the one who said there's no good men. That's why you're probably single. It's you. Your mouth is creating a reality that will be what you will live out. So do not tell me what you will have. Tell me what God said. Do not tell me what your feelings feel. Tell me what God said. Oh, well, it's about to be a recession, and God told me this idea, but it's about to be a recession. So I think I'm going to wait until everything passes through. I'm sorry. If God told me to do something, even when a recession by the world is coming, who said that God is limited by a recession? The recession happens because of man's decisions, his ability to change the markets, his ability to raise up interest rates and then decline them down. That's what man is doing. God is not the one raising interest rates and putting them down. That's what God is doing. So if God tells you to start a multi-million-dollar business or 100,000, I don't care if he's telling you to bake pies out your house. I don't care what it is. For one woman, it was doing oil in her house and a famine was about to. So don't tell me how God is limited according to what you see, taste, feel, or experiencing. What kind of God do you serve? And see this thing, you live by your perspective to who God is. Let me say that one again. You will live by how you see God. I live by how I see God. You live by how you see God. So we could serve the same God and experience a whole different reality. And that's what many believers are doing. They're serving the same God, but they're experiencing a different reality because of how they perceive who God is to them. If I perceive that God is judgmental, that he hates on me, that he is judgmental to me or condemnational to me, then I believe that then God is an abuser. I believe that God's the one that took people from my life. Then why would I even have faith in that kind of God? I believe that God, that he doesn't love me because when I pray, he never answered me. So that perspective right there is limiting God from opening up doors, because why would I pray for open doors if I believe that God's not able to open the door? Because he never heard my prayer. That's a lie. Listen, I'm going to save this we're going to save that for another line. But my point is that when you are not focused on who God is, listen, I want to stay within our hour time. We got 19 minutes on the clock. I'm telling you, you better get focused on who God is. Period. Listen, let me move on. Because y'all know when I get fired up, and listen, I don't want God. Y'all remember the last live I did, Holy Spirit started speaking. How many of you guys got those prophetic words I released about, what was it, like a couple weeks ago? Listen, God just don't do it to me tonight. We were up all night, but the Lord was speaking, and he gave the prophetic words. Listen, you better focus, okay? Here we go. Let's go to the last point number 5. Whew. I'm enjoying this. This is good for me. I'm excited about Q4, man. I'm so excited. I'm not an average leader. I'm not an ordinary leader. You're not an average. You're not an ordinary leader, man. I'm so excited. I hope that you sense the passion that I have for you guys, right? I'm so, the reason why I've been able to teach for 10 years is because of the passion that comes from taking people from certain mindsets and being that coach, that cheerleader in their ear, whether it's through a live I do, whether it's through a coaching program that I do, whether it's through, our accountability calls, right? We're on point number 5. I am so passionate. We're about to go to point number 5. I'm so passionate. That's what's going to keep you. I'm telling you, that's what's going to keep you. It is when you get focused on what God has called you to do. And it does not mean that you will not lose focus. I've lost focus many a times. Okay? Many a times. Happened this year. It happens every year. Okay? But what I love is as you get more mature, it doesn't hurt you as often. In other words, it doesn't, you won't stall as long. You got moments you get unfocused, but then the more mature you become, you don't become as unfocused as long, right? So it goes from where, you're doing something absolutely nothing, right? And then now, okay, I'm unfocused. Okay, babe, let me get back to it. The more mature you become, the easier it is to just get right back on the horse. The less mature you become, you love hanging off the horse. You just love hanging off the horse. You just love it. Okay. But the more mature you become, you're like, wait, hold on. There are people that I have to get to. And there are people that are counting on me to get them to a destination. I can't just be hanging off this horse. Okay. So that's why it's super important. So let's go back through our previous points. Okay. And I just want to kind of go through the comments. Yes. Yes. I'm loving this. Hey, YouTube, hey, Facebook. I'm just looking at Instagram real quick. Yes. Hey, guys. Hey, guys. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. So number one was do not compare your models. Business ministry church. Okay, inspired, but let God confirm. Number two, you must be great at proving your consistency. Okay, people are getting to a destination, right? So you have to prove that what God is giving, that model, that it works. You got to prove that it works, and you have to be consistent enough to let it work. Okay. Number three, you must be able to clearly define what you do. Know who you serve and know what you're providing. We went back to Luke because Jesus, when he showed up, he was focused on what am I providing to people? Not just love, hope. That's nice and cute, okay? But he said, I'm here to provide deliverance, okay? And here's how I'm going to do it. He had specifics on how he was going to get it done, okay? So he was casting that vision ahead of time. And that's how God is. I was in a clubhouse room and I was talking about this. Whenever God has, through the Bible, has introduced an epic movement, note how he's always cast the vision first. Always. When he was ready to set forth in motion the 12 tribes of Israel through Abraham, he cast out to Abraham how he was going to make them father of many nations. He gave him the blueprint. You're going to be blessed here. 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 Blessed coming. You're going to be able to do all this stuff. He laid out the vision, right? When he was ready to reset the earth with Noah, he laid out the vision. When he was ready to set the captives free, the same children of Israel, same children of Abraham, he set forth the vision to Moses on what was going to happen. When Moses died and Joshua's job was to take them to the promised land, he set forth the vision. Right? When he spoke to the major prophets in the Bible of what was going to happen to kingdoms, he let them know in advance what was about to happen. When he talked to Mary before Mary and Elizabeth of what was to come, he set forth the vision. This is what is about to happen. Right? When Jesus was with the disciples and he was discussing what was going to happen, okay, on how, I'm about to leave, but the Holy Spirit's about to come. He's going to give you the ability to do set forth the vision. He was training them. It's very important. When we look at the Bible, there was never a major movement that happened where vision was not casted. And this is why, as a leader, if you are to live like God, talk like God, walk like God, you are a vision caster. You don't just say, hey, follow me. You say, hello, my name is so-and-so, and my name is so-and-so. This is what I do. I help, blah, blah, blah. Hey, we are blah, blah, blah ministry, blah, blah, blah church, and we help families. We help people do blah, 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 blah. We're very specific, okay? There are so many churches, and the problem is that many churches are clones. Many ministries are clones. We were never made to be clones because the body of Christ was meant to be people are different. Let's put it like that. People are different. Everybody needs a different church. But every church should have a different mission. We're all supposed to love. We're all supposed, I get that. But there may be a style of ministry that you do that people are called to. There may be a style of church that you do that people are called to. But when you're busy trying to be a clone, it just doesn't work. Same thing in business, right? There's customers and clients for everybody. Number 4, and I'm not sure if I said this, but you must be able to have a path of progression. I don't think I said number 4 then. I don't think I said it. I thought I said it, but I probably didn't. So number 4 is you must be able to have a path of progression. And what I mean by this is many people who lack focus, again, these are people who preach that, I was made to, I have multiple gifts, so I'm going to use them all. And they think that means multiple businesses. Multiple gifts do not mean multiple businesses. Let's say that one again. Multiple gifts do not mean multiple businesses. Just how people think that multiple streams all have to come from different entities. If you're really going to compare yourself to Walmart, let's really compare. Walmart, first of all, you have to understand the bigger brand behind Walmart anyway, because it's bigger than that. You have Sam's, it's a whole infrastructure, okay? The best companies are parent companies or holding companies. They then have companies underneath them. I mean, if we're going to really talk business, if we're going to really talk shop, let's talk shop. We're really going to talk shop. Okay. Now, major companies have had where they have break-offs, right? But that's because they can afford to do so. But I find it very interesting that small business owners believe that they have the same amount to not be focused. When people say you have the same 24 hours as someone else, you don't. I'm gonna say that way. You don't. If you have kids, if you're married, all those kind of things, right? You don't have the same time. Okay? Someone said I'm not wanting Walmart vibes. Listen, and that's the truth. Now, here's the thing, though. I always tell people, never say, though, that Walmart is not a wealthy company, because they definitely are. But what I'm saying is that when you know what your model is, whatever your model is, right? My point is that in order to gain wealth, right, there has to be a form of focus. Again, most of us are never going to be Walmart, because most of us, let's just be real. Like, I mean, let's just be, that takes a lot, and not everyone's called to that. Okay. Everyone's called to bought a big box brand and that one. Okay. But you, as an entrepreneur, you can become very wealthy in a business. Okay. And have a boutique firm. Have a product-based business that you run out of a warehouse, right? Have a service-based or a brick and mortar, right? There are multiple ways, but you must build a pathway of progression. You don't just jump out, okay, and just do whatever, right? You should build a path of progression, a path of growth, a path. And the most overused S word in business is scale. That's the most if I hear that word again, I'm going to slap somebody. People, you just build for scale. Not everyone's meant to scale. People say, if you can't scale a business, don't do it. That's not true. There are $1 million businesses that are not scalable, not duplicatable. Not everyone's meant to duplicate. Not everyone's meant to have multiple locations. You can win and not have multiple locations. You can win and not have a brick and mortar. Okay? So what am I saying? Have a pathway of progression. This is why you must set realistic goals and measurables, especially your business, ministry, whatever it may be. Okay? If you haven't grown revenue in one area, you don't need to have a goal of exponential growth. Now, if it happens, it happens. But the wisest business owners do not base their business model or their growth goals on blow up moments. If it blows up, cool. But at the end of the day, even if you blow up, is your infrastructure ready are we planning? If a blow up does happen, have we created infrastructure for that? Right? If we go viral overnight, have we created infrastructure for that? Right? Because you can only handle what you've been built for. You can only handle what you've been built for. So let me give you an example. Okay? There are boutiques that believe that in order to be successful, they need a brick and mortar in 2022. Do you know that that's actually the wrong way to go about it? Let me tell you this right now. It's the wrong way. We're living in a world now that has merged mostly to online for certain experiences. Okay? Now, I want to tell you this, and I want you guys to listen. Brick and mortars are based upon foot traffic. I just want to give you a perfect example of how this works. It's based upon foot traffic. If you have a physical brick and mortar, whatever it is, it's based upon foot traffic. Okay? If you are a brand new brand that no one has ever heard of, okay, it's not to say that you will not be successful, because I'm not saying that. But do you know what a wise boutique owner would do first? I would start online. I sure would. Now, what I would do is I would go to pop-up shops. I would go to places that don't require a locked-in lease. I want to show you how wisdom works, okay? I'm showing this as an example. Because people believe in their heads that I have to do what I've seen. But when you actually look at the market, I want to go back to this progression. Is it wise to first get a brick and mortar with overhead all these requirements of insurance, physical, all you got to get everything set up. Is it wise to take on that payment when you don't have the capital? You get a loan for something, or is it more wise to say, I'm going to start in my house? See, some people aren't humble enough to start in their homes. They aren't humble enough. They want to have, I have the brick and mortar. Right? But the thing about it is that when you don't understand path to progression, you take on overhead and expenses that you do not need right now. You need to first make sure that you can sell clothing, period. Can you sell it with no brick and mortar? Because if you can't sell it without a brick and mortar, what does adding on a lease payment? That's going to add a need of stress. Can you sell the clothes at a pop-up market shop? Can you sell the clothes when you lay it out on a table and a stranger walks by? Or do you believe that by having a large space that somehow is going to make it more affordable? Right? I'm going to tell you what it is. When you lose the pride, you understand the greater mission. When I lose my pride, I understand that this is not about how I look to somebody of how my success is. Business is about, can you prove that what you're selling can sell? Can you get sales from it? Can you sell it out of your trunk? This is why I tell people, again, people on the street corners can teach a lot of people living in fancy homes, AC and heat furnished homes about sales. Because somebody out on the streets who doesn't have all the comfortability, okay, they listen, I got to sell this thing out my car. You're walking by, hey, do you want these flowers? Hey, do you want this? Hey, do you want that? The people who sell trees at Christmas time on the streets, they can teach a lot of people about sales. Okay, because what do you do when you don't have all the fancy things? Can you show up online? Can you show up at pop-up events and vendor events? Can you do this? Learn how to work what you've got. I'm going to say, man, because when you work what you've got, I'm telling you, you're going to have a story that's going to, that's where the beautiful stories are made. Can you work with what you've got? Can you work with the website that you have now? I know everyone's telling you got to revamp, but have you gotten if you can't sell what it is now, what does spending $5,000 on another site going to do for you? I'm just saying. I've seen people sell products with worse packaging, everything. Okay? And we're caught up on a culture that believes that the more you spend, the more you'll make. And that's why many of them have beauty brands that are broke. Beautiful brands, but broke. Not making any money. Because the art is first knowing how to sell. Sell it. Learn how to communicate. Okay? Yeah, listen, you need this. You need that. Okay? Now, I'm not saying, it's important, I'm not saying that packaging does not matter. I'm not saying that, it's not important to upgrade things. But what I'm saying is that if you can't maximize level 1, I should not scale or grow my business to level 2 yet. I got to first master how to sell with the schedule that I have. I have to learn, because this is the thing too, we're going to move on. A lot of people think that they need to hire employees immediately. But I was watching an amazing link, I'm going to post on my YouTube and my Facebook, of a woman who started a hair company. She started out of her apartment. Okay, started out of her apartment, became a multi-million-dollar business. Started out of her apartment. She did not get a warehouse until she hit, I want to say it was over $1 million in revenue. Did not get a warehouse until she hit a certain number. She did not hire until she was able to really have the infrastructure and the systems. But what she did was she sweated out herself until she was at the level in which it made sense to hire. I'm trying to tell you. So I'm going to move on. But my point is, you got to have a path of progression. Do not put expectations on yourself for the world or for you to feel important and feel like you're accomplished. Most businesses need to start in their house, especially product-based. Service-based, a little bit different, but especially if you have a digital-based business, you don't necessarily always need a physical location. You can get a co-working space, but you got to be able, it has to be able to pay for itself. If I haven't made the sale, how can I afford it? Why? Oh man, I'm just going to continue, but just get the point. We got only a few minutes. Point number 5, okay? I want us to have profitable businesses and ministries. Ministries out here buying these large locations, and you only got 30 people. Just be humble. And the thing is, because we don't see the beauty in what we already have, so we believe that we have to change our model, fit someone else to look like somebody else. And instead, you could get a smaller building, deck it out, make it a space that could be rented out by other churches. And now you have a business model where you can also use the space when you're not using it. But see, when we think about how we have to be like somebody else, have like somebody else, then we create a model that we've, again, been inspired by, but it's not really taking us to the other direction. We got to be humble. You got to be humble. Be so humble that the H can't even stand on its own. Humble. That's what they say. I'm humble. Humble. Point number 5. I said this in point number 4, but this is actually the main point for point number 5. It is time to build the correct infrastructure. Remember, I said this a couple minutes ago. You can only maintain what you've been built for. Like, you can only handle what you're built for. You cannot handle what you're not built for. And see, when I say that statement, people get offended because they think I'm talking about them. Oh, I can handle it. I can handle it. Okay. Can I go 10 minutes over? I know, but I need 10 minutes. Because I want to get this last point in. If I can go 10 minutes, let me know in the comments if I can just go 10 minutes. I just need 10 minutes on the clock. I just need 10 minutes. So I'm going to get 0.5 in. And let me know if I can get 10 minutes in. Just let me know. I need your permission if I can get these last 10 minutes in. Okay. I promise you won't go past 110. But I need your permission because I want to have time to include this last point. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. I got some okays. Thank you. Thank you, Latasha. Thank you guys. Okay. So listen, here's what I want you to understand here. I'm not speaking about what you cannot do in the future. What I'm speaking of is your ability to handle your current season and what God has for you next, right? Doesn't matter how tall you build the house. If the foundation is not correctly set, the house will sink, right? God is giving you wisdom to build infrastructure. A couple years back, when I was teaching on my first set of teachings in entrepreneurship, I did a whole series on why the devil fights entrepreneurs, and everything went viral. It all went viral. And the viral quote was that the reason why the enemy hates entrepreneurship is that it creates systems of poverty. It creates these systems. It's not, but it breaks down the systems of poverty. All right, and people took that and twisted it all different types. And actually, when I wrote it, it said entrepreneurism. I spelled it wrong. It still went viral, right? And everyone took it, tweaked it, changed it, right? But that quote was really speaking to systems. Because the enemy does not care about, it's important, he doesn't care about the pretty, doesn't care about the packaging, all that kind of stuff, doesn't matter. He cares about the systems and the infrastructures that you create. Because systems and infrastructure create a foundation, and the enemy hates foundations. Oh, he hates it. He doesn't care if you're dancing in your emotions, if you're dancing and I'm going to get this done, I'm going to get that done. No, he doesn't even care if you create products or services. Do you know he does not care about creation? Because he can create himself. Now, he can't create how God creates, because he can only use what is currently existing. But my point is that the enemy doesn't even care about. This is why he does not care about when you're scattered. Because being scattered is awesome to the enemy. Because you're not focused. And it's so funny. You can even create something that God told you to create and still be scattered. Because it's not in order. It's not in any kind of infrastructure. It's not in any kind of system. The enemy is not fearful of that. Because it's only until the products, the services, the ministry, the gifts, the talents come under order that now he gets nervous. Because when something comes into order, it now can actually function how it was supposed to function. Somebody got to hear me on this. See, the reason why many times, especially those who've been called, you have been so frustrated is because your flesh has to get in line. You have been trying, oh man, I haven't been focused. It's generational, you blame on generational curses. No. You're fighting the importance of order, okay? You're fighting the effect that you need to sit down and figure out, what kind of business am I really building here? What kind of ministry are we really building here? What kind of church are we really building here? What are we really building? Where are we taking people? How is it going to change lives? How is this book going to actually do something? Am I just writing books and books and books? Writing, creating, practice, service. I have 50 different services, right? The enemy's not concerned about your 50 different services. He'll let you make your money. He'll let you brag about how you're multi-talented, how nobody can box you in, right? Because we feel like boxing ourselves in is constraining our giftings. But nobody's constraining your giftings. God just wants them in order. Nobody's constraining your creativity. Just get it in line and get in order so that people can actually digest what it is that you are doing, and they can actually understand, comprehend, and invest in it correctly. Right? I want you to understand that if this is your time to get your infrastructure in order, have systems in place. Stop telling people that they can buy, they can pay it here, pay it there. You can email, you can text me. Get it in order. Because when it comes time for you to blow up, no one will be able to find your 5 different links. And no. Get it in order. I know you've been telling people, I don't have the time. Find the time. Okay, you've been telling people, well, I'll get, no. Get it together. Get it together. Get it together. Okay, get it to do whatever you got to do. Sometimes you got to humble yourself. You got to humble yourself and say, okay, it was me. I was holding it back. Okay, but I'm going to repent. I'm going to come with the right heart unto God and say, God, I'm sorry. And now, God, according to James 1:5, you said that if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, for you give it to me freely. So, God, give me the wisdom to get it in order. Give me the wisdom to get it together. Give me the wisdom to do things according to your will. God, give me the wisdom to not rush ahead. God, give me the wisdom to let people help me. God, give me the wisdom to get over my trust issues for why I refuse to delegate. God, heal my heart from brokenheartedness so that I can trust people, that you're going to send me the people that actually are going to help me, right? God, give me the healing in my heart to trust people that will believe in my vision and that will help me to get this show on the road. God, I thank you that you're giving me the infrastructure that will allow me to hire people correctly and not just give them random tasks because I don't know how to organize. God, give me the wisdom for job descriptions. Give me the wisdom, okay, God, to put it on the career page, right? Give me the wisdom, God. Okay, give me the wisdom. I need the wisdom of God. I need the wisdom. I need the structure of God. He said, let the animals go 2 by 2. Did he not? Jesus said, you know what? I need 12 disciples. I need 12. I don't need 15. I don't need 6. I need 12. I need 12. I need 12. I need 12. Okay, there are going to be 12 tribes in the Old Testament with Abraham. There are going to be 12 disciples. Listen, I need order. I need structure. Noah, when you build the boat, when you build the ark, I need it to be this many cubits high. I need you to use gopher. I need you to go like this, right? I need there to be order in my life. I need there to be order in my life, right? It's important that we follow the order of God. It's important that you follow the order of God, that you are able to understand that when you focus and create from the inside out, you'll be able to accomplish everything God has for you. Let's end here. I only have 6% left on my laptop, so we got to really end. I want to close this. We got 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left. You guys said 1:10, 3 minutes left. I want to close this with creating from the inside out. Now, we're going to make this the next teaching on creating from the inside out. If you are not a part of the email list, I recommend you go to genesisdorsey.com, click on the join tab so that you do not miss any future teachings from me. I'm going to be doing a pop-up as well, but I'm going to be giving you guys the date and time for part 2. So I highly recommend that if you want to get part 2, that you are someone that is going to join the email list. That's going to be super, super, super important, okay? And for those of you who join the email list, you will get the audio versions. That's something we'll be doing for October. You will get the audio versions of these teachings so that you can listen to this teaching in your car while you're getting yourself dressed in the morning. You'll be able to listen to the audio versions of this. So that's going to be really important for those of you who, multitasking with the screen and stuff like that. You'll be able to get the audio and you'll be able to listen to the sermon. So that is for the email community only. Again, go to genesisdorsey.com, click on the join tab so you can get that access. I want to close the last 2 minutes, though, talking about creativity, creating from the inside, because it's going to be our point for our next teaching. When you focus like this, and you create that infrastructure, you create what you're trying to do, then what you've been praying for to come externally will come by design. I want that to rest in your, I want you to hear that, let it rest in your ears. Some of you are praying about things that you're saying, God, I need a team. I need people to help me. But people will never be attracted to disorder. When I create order, I create job descriptions, I make it clear for what people are what they can contribute. Good people come because good people will not waste their seed on bad soil. Say it again. You just don't want help. You want good help. You don't just want regular clients, you want good clients, right? So when I create the infrastructure, I show up in that way, okay? That focus is going to attract what I'm demanding externally. You said that you need more capital. But see, when you can demand, you can ask for capital. When you show up prepared with a plan, you know your numbers, you know your cash flow project, you know all your stuff. It's easy for someone to invest in you because you've demonstrated, okay, well, our need is this. If we get money for this will allow us to expand in these various areas within the company. But when you say, oh, I just need money to start my business, well, I'm sorry, you have not showed up with the infrastructure and the focus to demand something externally that you're asking for. But when I show up, come on now, when I show up how God wants me to show up, when I get myself in order, then what I'm asking for will come as a byproduct. You want good people to come in your life? Set up your life with the right infrastructure and order. I promise you, good people will come into your life. You've been praying for mentors. Mentors will be attracted to people who are focused. Mentors are not going to mentor people that are disfocused, in array, acting all kind of ways, because they're not going to plant their wisdom in bad soil. I'm done. I can't. We're at 110. I got to stop. If you want more though, if you would like to be a part of part 2, that's where we're going in part 2. The people are on their way. I'm telling you this. The people are on their way. The people are on their way. The people are on their way. Listen, the people are on their way. Whatever you're looking for next, for your business ventures, your ministry ventures, church ventures, whatever it may be, whatever your business model, ministry model is, your way of moving into the next level of infrastructure, the next level of systems in your business, within your ministry, within your church, whatever that is, it's going to come as you elevate into that next thing. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go. Remember, if you want part 2, if you want the audio from tonight, I want you to go to genesisdorsey.com, click on the join tab, join the email list. You can also get access to business confessions, some free resources, God-given genius. Okay, just join the email list. We have men on the list as well. So guys, if you want it, get it. Just ignore the pink. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you on our next live. Okay, guys, be blessed. See you guys later.